over here.
Hmm.
But I've got this light right here, and I'm already hot. I'm actually.
I was so mad. I was so like mad when you showed me the box when the books arrived, and I threw that in there, and how destroyed that box was, because I remember the one time in all the years I've been sending media mail a couple months ago when I was sending you something, and the guy was like grilling me. He's like, "Are there really books in here?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Is there anything else in there? Is there anything? Because if we open it up," and I was like, "No, it's just books."
Right.
I think there were a few other things in that box, but anyway, it's fine. And I was like, "No, it's fine." And I finally shipped my thing. And then when you showed me that box, I was like, did they actually open up my package and take it out?
I mean, it looks like somebody tore through it. You saw it.
So I was like, Naomi, there's more stuff in there. Go check your box.
And it's like, if you did do that, why would you not tape it back, man? Why would you not secure my package? That thing was like, like a strip of tape removing away from just being completely open.
Do you remember when I got that LitJoy crate box, like a year and a half ago, that looked like it went through like the jaws of life?
Yes, I do.
And everything was actually in it, and everything was actually okay. Like,
yeah.
That was probably the only time I was proud of my local post office, because they actually put it all back in there. But it was like taped around. It had like a bag on it. Like, I've never seen something so, I think it got like stuck in a machine.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah,
that was crazy. But thankfully, everything was in there. But I've never received a package that looked
that box was like
so torn up.
That box that you got was like a couple tumbles away from the one that I got. It was like one more turn in the machine.
My box was violated for sure. So
don't say that. I am not mature enough for you to say that phrase.
I'm just saying. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. TBR Lowdown.
Do not violate our boxes, UPS.
Look, we are rapidly just going down, and look, we're tired.
This is our third video.
We're getting loopy. We're ready to just chill and read. It's been a day. It
has been a day.
So
yeah.
I can't even laugh too hard because I'm going to start coughing. At some point I'm going to have to mute my mic again and blow my nose. It's just a lot going on. It's a lot going on.
I have the chaos.
I'm not doing it. I'm gonna tell them what I'm currently reading, so you get your giggles out. So
I just hate that I have this White Claw because everyone's gonna think I'm drunk and I'm not. I've had like 4 sips.
She just cracked it open. I promise you.
This is my natural state.
She just cracked it open. I think the cucumbers are making her silly. Oh, maybe
I'm having too many healthy foods.
Cream cheese.
Yeah, that generic cream cheese.
That generic.
No, if I'm gonna get, you know what it is, like a generic. I got generic whipped cream cheese. No. Where are my New Yorkers? If you're gonna get whipped cream cheese, you get Tempty. That is the cream cheese you buy. That is what every good mom in like 1986 had Tempty in their fridge.
There you go. There you go. You heard it here, folks. I have to cough.
Tempty cream cheese is definitely a New York tri-state area thing.
I see. Okay. It's always interesting, like what certain areas, like what are the popular brands for certain areas. So I don't know that.
We talked about this in our group chat, and you guys were all like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, no. And the only person who knew was Dree, because Dree's from fucking like,
she's a New Yorker.
Like wherever, she's a New Yorker. But hold on, I'll show you.
That was so crazy.
Hold on.
I rarely eat cream cheese. But I also don't really eat bagels. This
pink cream cheese. Oh. This right here. This is the whipped cream cheese. That's the shit.
Tempting.
You can't get the generic shit. It's not worth it. It's bad. Don't do that.
Okay.
Get the pink shit. Anyway.
That
is not the point. Okay. We were not supposed to have a cream cheese PSA.
Well, we just had it. So deal with it. Also, weigh in with your favorite cream cheese brand because we want to know. Okay. So
everyone's gonna say Philadelphia.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm gonna just let you know that I'm gonna be to Paradise. I'm not done, folks. We were supposed to be talking about this book during our mega recording podcast session, and we could not because I did not finish this book. But I think this will be my focus for Monday, for tomorrow.
Didn't finish their homework.
I didn't. And you know what else I'm realizing? I did not annotate this
I
the
didn't
way I
annotate it
wanted
either.
to, and that's probably a mistake because we're going to discuss it.
I didn't annotate any of it. But I have thoughts, my friend. I have thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to write out some of my thoughts. But yeah, to Paradise, I'm still working on it.
I'm still trying to decide if it's a masterpiece or not. I can't. I'm like somewhere on the fence between yes and no.
Oh,
I can't. Anyway,
It's,
we will discuss.
So many mixed reviews, but yeah, we'll wait. We'll talk about it all then. We'll talk about it all then.
Are you in part 3 yet?
I stopped at part 3. That's where I stopped.
So when you get into part 3, I feel like I'm gonna guess that you're gonna start wavering like I am. Because before part 3, I was like, all right, this is fine. Hanayana Gahara is a fantastic writer.
Beginning of book 3.
Yeah, so like they're a fantastic writer. And like I was like, okay, all right, okay. But like part 3, I feel like you'll start going, maybe this is a masterpiece.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't know what the answer is.
Right.
That's just the question I have.
Yeah, got it.
We shall get there. We will get there. We will discuss.
Okay.
Anyway, what are you reading? That's what you're reading?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I forgot that's what you... Okay.
I know. It's fine. Oh,
I need to pay attention. So, I read...
Yes, The Love and Color. I'm supposed to read that with you. I'm just realizing that.
Getting my shit together. Okay, so I read in February Love and Color because it's Love Month and Black History Month, and like what could be better? So this is also sort of reimaginings and retellings of various different mythologies and folklorish tales, from things we know like Cupid and Psyche to stories maybe we're less familiar with because they are different African cultural folklores. Mm-hmm. And the stories are phenomenal. I cannot pick a favorite. They are just so well done. Mm. And I mean, it is honestly, first of all, the cutest book. Like
it's beautiful.
And it is so well done. And actually the last story in here is sort of a fictionalized retelling of her parents meeting. Or I don't know if fictionalize is the best. Fictionalization, like making it a story.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
Like it's their real story, but like made into its own folklore fairy tale sort of thing. And there's a few of them that were just sort of like surprising. There was one, and I want to say it was the Nefertiti story, where you thought it was going to go one way, and then she just like pulls it the other. There are queer stories, there's straight stories, there's more like today's stories, contemporary stories. That's the word, contemporary. There's more feeling like they're in another time stories. They're really, really beautifully written. I just enjoyed it. Like, there's really nothing, I have nothing negative to say. And I think it's gotten a lot of really good
I think so too.
Feedback and reviews.
I think so it's just,
yeah, and I think this is her first, this is her debut anthology. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. So, thank you again to William Morrow for sending this to me last year. So good. Anyway.
Wonderful. I love it.
Yes. Nothing. That's just something sweet and nice.
Yes.
For this clusterfuck of an episode.
Well, we're just gonna have a chatty conversation about many books that are being adapted into TV/film.
So this is really a topic that's for Naomi, though, because Naomi's the one who watches TV and movies.
But you will watch some. If you are drawn to it, you will watch some.
Yes.
So, but yes, I love television.
She does. I don't know how you read all the books you read and watch television?
I don't know, but I love me some good television. I've always loved television. I've always loved good movies. Always. Always. So
I mean, I like TV and movies. As I've gotten older, I just keep going back to the same. I think this happens with a lot of people. I keep going back to the same stuff over and over again. And then every so often, like a new thing will slide
oh
in.
no, I'm definitely in both camps. I like to rewatch a lot of stuff, but I'm so
You,
here for a new show.
yeah,
Like I'm not even gonna tell you that like back in the day, like I've legit like had a Google spreadsheet of all my shows
I'm not
to keep
surprised.
track of them.
I do want to watch Gilded Age at some point.
It's good. I'm having a lot of fun
And
with it.
I backtracked on Wheel of Time so that Jesus can catch up. So
Okay.
I rewatched the first two, and then
Mhm.
maybe when I finish that edit for our announcement on the first, I will watch some of that with him. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched The Witcher because that's where my boyfriend is.
Yeah. The Witcher's good too. Yeah, I enjoy
The
that.
story's good too. I just love all the grunting.
It's good grunting. It's good grunting.
I'm such like at least he's like age appropriate.
For
Like
sure.
I'm not a lecherous old lady yet.
Right. For sure. For sure.
Like he's age
So
appropriate.
it does seem like though, or maybe it's always been this way, and I really wasn't paying attention. But it does seem like is there an original script out there, or are they literally just taking everything from a book? I don't know.
I think they are, because what was Jess talking about in one of her most recent book communities was that Children of Blood and Bone, and how like a while ago someone bought the movie rights and it was never made, and then it went back up to auction, and then it got so like I feel like people are just so is that how it's always been, and we just never paid any attention to it, that they just snatch up
I wonder.
the book rights? And
I wonder. I really do wonder. I mean, of course, they've always made movies from books, but it just seems like over the last few years, it's been so
where are the
much.
original screenplays?
Yeah, it's been so much.
Yeah.
Like everything that comes out is like, oh, based on the novel by, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's a lot. But also for like a decade, I didn't read fiction, so I wasn't even plugged in.
Yeah.
So I may not have been aware anyway because I was not even reading fiction. But now I'm super soaked into fiction, and I'm always paying attention to what's being adapted for film or TV.
I like is that we don't, because we used to really just have like TV, which was mostly like sitcoms and things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe you had like a PBS miniseries or BBC miniseries, which would be aired on PBS.
Right.
And you had movies, but now you have this lovely like in between area of Netflix and Prime, and where you get these short like 8-episode miniseries that could only be like a season, or maybe they are a couple seasons, but you can take a book like that has a lot in it and actually do it some justice. Whereas before, trying to condense it only to really a 2-hour format, you lost a lot of stuff.
Well, unfortunately, and this is I actually don't like this. So, back in the day, all TV shows were relatively between 18 to 24 episodes a season.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're basically all 8 to 10 episodes, period. I miss a long season. Sometimes I feel like
there's not a problem with a long season. But I feel like when you're going to do a book, like you're just going to take a book.
Yeah.
You want to do a book. Like what Dad told me today about A Gentleman in Moscow. And they're adapting that. Kevin Branagh is apparently adapting it. And that article I sent you is a couple of years old now. And I think they said it's going to be on Netflix. And I'm hoping they're going to make it a series and not
a movie.
Because there's a lot in that book that you're going to lose if you make it, if you push it into like a 2-hour like time constraint.
That's true.
But if you do it on Netflix, I believe they are doing it as a series. I'm reading it now. You actually could get hopefully the nuances and the whole richness of the story through even an 8-episode. But if you just do one season, that's an 8-episode adaptation of a book, I don't think that that's horrible. It sucks when you have actual TV seasons that are that short.
Yeah.
That's irritating. But I will say, like, the UK has British television shows, for the most part, there's a few outliers, are all very short on seasons and very short on episodes. And their actors,
like 4 episodes.
well, like, then their actors aren't as locked into contracts, it seems. I think that their contracts are shorter, or like they're more easy to move around. So you'll see, like, even if they're in like a hit show, something that could even be like the level of almost like a Friends, they're not staying. They'll take that and leverage it and go somewhere else. Think of how many people left Downton Abbey after season 1 and 2 to go do other things as opposed to staying.
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
See, I know things.
You do know things. Also, shout out to Downton Abbey. We watched that a number of times. I love that.
One of my coworkers was watching it for the first time the other day, and I was like,
so great. Oh, when the movie came out, I went by myself to watch it. It was a wonderful experience. Because look, if you don't like it, don't come with me. You know, don't come with me, because I'm gonna be in it. Like, I'm having a moment. And if you're not like a Downton Abbey fan, then just stay home.
Just stay home.
Don't come over here trying to block my joy. So, yeah.
All right, message to all of the listeners: don't block Naomi's
joy.
Don't block
my TV joy. Don't do it. So let's look at these lists. So
we each have a list, right?
Yeah.
I have one from Perpetual Page Turner.
And I have one from the Bibliophile.
So do you want to just talk about things that have caught our eye?
Yeah, things that caught our eye. And folks, of course we know there's probably hundreds of these lists out on the internets. So I'm sure we're probably not even capturing everything.
Yeah.
Because it seems like every week there's an announcement about some book being adapted.
Or at least the rights being purchased.
Mm-hmm. So,
but it seems like they can sit on those rights until some period of time.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to go first?
Yeah, because this first one, Deep Water, called out to me because it's by Patricia Highsmith.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with that book. I'm familiar with her. I bought her Talented Mr. Ripley series, and I bought her book, The Price of Salt, and something else, but I had not heard of Deep Water. So I'm intrigued by that.
When does that one come out?
Well, it said January 2022. Did it already come out? Is this on Amazon? It says it's on Amazon.
What's it called? Deep Water?
Oh, okay. So it's been pushed back from January, but it's still expected to be released this year on Amazon. Deep Water.
Well, that's good. At least it's coming out this year. What is it about? I'm pulling it up on Amazon right now, the book.
So this should be interesting.
It's set in a quiet small town of Little Wesley. It's a vicious and suspenseful tale of love gone sour. Did you disappear?
No, I was looking at my Highsmith books on my shelf.
You don't have this one. Vic and Melinda Valen Allen's loveless marriage is held together only by a precarious arrangement whereby, in order to avoid the messiness of divorce, Melinda is allowed to take any number of lovers as long as she does not desert her family. Eventually, Vic can no longer suppress his jealousy and tries to win back his wife by asserting himself through a tall tale of murder. One that soon comes true in this complex portrayal of a dangerous psychosis emerging in the most unlikely of places. Highsmith examines the chilling reality behind the idyllic facade of the American suburban life.
And now I'm going to have to buy that book and read it because that sounds wonderful.
That sounds fantastic. It's only 270-something pages.
All her books are relatively short.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get that and add it to my Highsmith collection.
I'm excited for Heartstoppers.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are.
They're just some of the most heartwarming graphic novels by Alice Oseman. And it's about these two teens in the UK who, one is bisexual and one is gay, and they kind of one's the jock and one's like sort of more on the outskirts, like he's not like necessarily the popular kid, and they just have this really lovely and charming relationship, and they deal with all kinds of issues throughout the novels. I need to get the fourth one, and like, so they'll deal with like men having an eating disorder, and they deal with coming out, they deal with all kinds of stuff, and it's just done in this like warm hug of a kind of way.
Every time someone says that, it makes me not ever want to read these books.
Why?
I don't know.
It'll end up making
ice heart.
I have no heart. I guess it depends on which Alyssa's there. Sometimes I feel like I have a heart, and sometimes I want to murder everybody.
I know people love these they're graphic novels, yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know people love them. They say the most wonderful things about them, but I don't know.
Do you fall in love with Nick and Charlie?
It feels so syrupy to me, and I don't want it.
It's not syrupy, though. That's the thing. Is like there is this, I don't know, there's a wholesomeness mixed in with reality.
I think I'm gonna let y'all have it and just continue loving it, and I'm just gonna root for you loving it, and hope that they don't mess up the adaptation.
Oh, they'll probably will.
Let's hope not.
All right, what you got next?
Well, I don't know. So, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Why does that sound so familiar?
I just think of George.
I'll tell you what I'm not interested in, and that is Where the Crawdads Sing.
I'm not really either, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to unhaul the book without reading it, because I don't know how I feel about all the nonsense that's going on around that and the lady who wrote it, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, that book does not call to me, but I
picked it up at the book barn because it was $1, and I know that a lot of people really like it, but I've never read it. Like, it just sits there being like, maybe one day.
Yeah. So, I'm going off the list now because I'm going off of another article that I read. You all know that I love the Secret Lives of Church Ladies. And
yes.
That will be adapted as well. That was announced a couple months ago, and I'm looking forward to it. And I want to say, what's her name from passing? Tessa Thompson? Mm-hmm. I believe she has a hand in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Then hopefully it won't suck.
Yeah, so I am really excited for that one.
Whatever happened?
Turn these short stories into a series or movie or whatever they're doing.
Weren't they making a like modern or a contemporary Black Pride and Prejudice?
Oh, I hadn't heard that. No.
Yes, you did. Because you were like, I ain't watching this. This is stupid.
Oh, that sounds like me, though. When was this? Was this last year?
Uh-huh.
Huh. Do we remember the name?
No. I'm trying to Google.
Because it's, okay, well.
I don't know.
Had a trailer
Pride and Prejudice.
Or I just read the announcement about it?
I think it's Pride and Prejudice Atlanta.
Pride and Prejudice Atlanta. Oh, now I remember. Okay, I think I did see a trailer. And I was
you were like, I ain't watching this.
I am not watching this nonsense here. This does not appeal to me. Yeah, now I remember. So you said Atlanta. Okay. But generally, anything from Atlanta would turn me off, except for the show Atlanta by Danny.
What you got against Atlanta?
It's a real special place. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't have any opinions. I am actually interested in the Nightingale. I think that would be. That'll be a really. Now. Is it out right now?
Mm-hmm. On Netflix.
It's out now. It says it's going to be out in December.
Mm-mm. You can watch it now. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Now, yeah. Now I started reading the Nightingale, and this I think it was in 2019, and I DNF'd it about 50 pages in.
Really? Because like IMDb is saying 2023.
No, it's
with Kristen Hanna and it's not Kristen Hanna. That's the Elle Fanning and Dakota Fanning.
Yeah,
expected January 5th, 2023. That's IMDb.
Is it a different Nightingale?
I think it's a different one. There is something on.
I thought it was Kristen Hanna's.
There is the Nightingale, a drama and psychological thriller. It's about an Irish convict, but no, Kristen Hanna, the Nightingale, is not apparently coming out until January.
I thought it was Kristen Hanna. Okay, never mind then.
Well, you wrong.
I was wrong. Sorry, Kristen.
It's okay. What else you got?
So I saw these books called The School of Good and Evil on Amazon. I don't know.
Yes, I've seen them. I see them all the time, and I'm like, why do I want to read these?
Well, it's gonna be. Does it say a show or does it say a movie?
It better be a show because there's multiple books.
So the ads just tripped me up. They just like made my whole thing go blank.
That's why I hate that. Here's the thing I hate, and I think it's the worst on recipe sites, but like people who write blog posts, I know that you need to make money, and the way to make money is through advertising, but also like it is impossible to consume your content.
Yeah. I'm afraid to click on anything, but yeah, it says release date this year. Oh, and the format is a movie. The School for Good and Evil. And I guess Kerry Washington and Charlize Theron are going to be in this.
Whoa.
So
it's 6 books.
Whenever that comes out, I'm going to watch it. For sure.
I kind of want... I've seen these books in various thrifting moments, and I haven't picked them up. But I really want to read. There's something about like the covers and the premise. I love a good magical school.
They make you want to read it for sure.
I'm here for a good magical school. Always, always, always. Did you see Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz?
I did. Yes, I did. I'm excited for it. I'm very excited.
So this says it would be out already, but they must have pushed it back. That's the annoying thing, is how much they push shit back.
Yep. But we can thank COVID for that, probably.
The Magpie Murders TV on Netflix? Is that where it's going to be?
Netflix? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. You know how we do these episodes where I type all the time and you get mad at me?
Uh-huh.
It's one of those.
Okay.
Editing Naomi, you'll hate me. Oh, wait, it's out. So maybe it's just not out here in the States. I don't know. But on February 10th, there's at least episodes 1 and 2 are out.
And what network?
I guess it's on Netflix? Or maybe it's on BritBox. What is it on?
Oh. We need to find that out because I've got to watch that. If you guys haven't read Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz, do yourself a favor and read it.
It is really good.
He's a really good writer. I enjoy what he's doing.
What is this on? It's on BritBox, I think. Do you have BritBox?
No, and I'm not paying for another streaming service.
I have BritBox. I can watch it.
That makes me sad.
Maybe we can Zoom it to each other.
Oh yeah, I see it. Season 1.
Yep.
BritBox. Okay, well.
I know what you're excited for.
Do you?
Pachinko.
I am.
Did you watch the trailer?
I did. I saw the trailer last week. It looks really good. It looks good. Apple's picking some really good stuff to work on. They're picking some good projects. But I'm also...
Did you watch was it
Macbeth?
Hamlet or Macbeth? They did Macbeth,
Not
right?
yet. The man watched it without me, which really irritated me. So
we'll get Larry
now
for
I
that.
have to watch it by myself. But that looks really good too. I like the way it's shot. The black and white is very dramatic. Like it's a simple scene, but it has so much dramatic effect. So I'm really looking forward to watching that.
Yeah.
But also, White Noise, which is a book by Don DeLillo, is being adapted this year on Netflix. I have that book, but I haven't read it yet.
I have a book by him, and it's not that one, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, I have a lot of his books, so I'm looking forward to that. See how that turns out. Definitely have to read the book first.
I'm excited we're doing this episode because I did not know the Magpie Murders was going to be.
Yes.
And that it was already out, and that I can watch it. Oh, Joe Hill has a thing coming out. Fuck Joe Hill. Anyway,
that's right. He sure does. I forgot about that.
Sorry, I have feelings.
A little bit. A little bit.
So, how do you feel about the Agatha Christie, Kenneth Branagh as Poirot? Have you watched Murder on the Orient Express?
I haven't really read Agatha Christie, so I have no opinions.
Okay, so I want to watch Kenneth Branagh being Hercule Poirot, but he's not my Hercule Poirot because I'm used to David Shusett because he was Poirot for like most of my life on this planet.
Yeah.
So like that's who is Poirot to me. So it's so hard for me to see these. Like they have Death in the Nile coming out, and Death in the Nile is a fantastic. Like it's a great. Like they're hitting all like the big ones. Like
yeah.
But I just don't know.
Well,
do you have like when you're a kid?
Maybe
it's like you get like attached to somebody.
Maybe you should watch Maura's video about the Death on the Nile because she went to see it and then she did like a little video about it when she got back. Maybe watch that first and make a decision from there.
Maybe.
It wasn't great, I'll just tell you that.
You know what made me angry? Oh, I'm glad it wasn't good. Anyway, you know what made me angry? Oh God, what's her name? I was watching oh, she'll come to me. What the fuck is her name? She's a bigger booktuber. She's got like a great sort of newscastery voice. A book olive.
Oh,
hates A Gentleman in Moscow.
Really? Did she
and
say
I was
why?
Like, because she lived in Russia and studied Russia, and she just doesn't feel like it's Russian, and yada 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 yada.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, she's entitled to her opinion, but I'm also entitled to not like it.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna start some beef.
I liked the book. I thought it was really good.
Me too.
You know, I didn't study Russian or anything or live in Russia, but I liked the book.
Me too. Me too. I can't believe they're making. Didn't we already have a Salem slot?
Did we?
I thought we had another King at the. It was adapted in the 70s as a miniseries, and now and in 2004 with Rob Lowe, and now they're making a new one.
Like,
so like that's the stuff where I'm like, do we need the same thing over and over and over again?
No, but there's always going to be some actor or director that feels like they can do it better, and they're going to, or at least they're going to attempt to.
I was going to say, are they going to do it better, Naomi?
They're going to attempt to. So we know how that goes. And especially if it's like, you know, technology's changed in the industry and you can do more and you can make the film look really good now.
But that doesn't mean that the story's any better.
That's true, but also it depends on what take they're doing of the story.
True.
You know, it may not be like a word for word kind of a thing. It may just be like an inspiration for something.
Well, I'm going to say all of this and harp on about how I hate when people keep doing the same freaking movie over and over again. And what made me excited before we started filming while I was still eating my snack.
Yeah.
There's a new Persuasion coming out.
And how many of those have been made?
A lot. Persuasion probably has like 3. I can think of like 3 off the top of my head versions of it.
See,
Pride and Prejudice has like quite a few.
Yes, Yes.
Jane Eyre has God only knows how many. Not that that's a Jane Austen, but
yeah.
But I will always watch those because I love seeing how people decide to portray. And a lot of times I hate watch them.
Oh my gosh.
Like the newer Emma is visually stunning, but I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just, how do I feel about a movie being remade or a series being remade a few times? Look, I'm annoyed at the fact that they have already remade Gossip Girl. I just feel
Yeah,
like it
that's
was
weird.
completely unnecessary. Why are you doing that? Why? I
Yeah.
tried to watch it because Frances and I were talking, and she was like, "You got to check it out." And I tried to watch it. I'm like, "This is garbage. Like, you can't touch the original trash that is Gossip Girl. Like, stop
But
it.
that's what happens sometimes with shows that are really impactful. It's like if someone decided to make Friends again.
Don't do it.
We would be like, "Excuse me?"
Don't do it."
And I see your School for Good and Evil, Charlize Theron, Kerry
Hmm.
Washington, but there's also our good old friend Larry Fishburne's in here.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, I shouldn't call him Larry. That's not his name.
Okay.
I just like pretending like we're on a we're on a diminutive basis.
You know what else is being adapted? And I read this book last year. It's Killers of the Flower Moon. This
I literally
book,
just got to that. What is this book? It
this
looks like
book,
a U book. Ooh, Robert De Niro, Brendan Fraser, Leo.
it is a story of the Osage murders and the birth of the FBI. What they were doing in Osage County with all that land and killing all these people, it was insane. This was a bonkers book. Like, honestly, bonkers. I mean, I could not believe what I was reading. It was like, this really happened. I can't wait to see how they portray this on film. It's an Apple original, so it's probably gonna be really good.
So I need this book.
You
I
do
feel
need this
like
book.
I
You
was
do.
either offered this book or I saw this book somewhere and didn't grab it.
I don't know. I got it 2 years ago from the thrift store, so I don't know.
Hmm.
Like, I
Then
don't
I
know when it
probably
came out or
saw it at the
anything.
thrift store and I didn't grab it because I was like, what is this? Oh, Miss
Yeah.
Marvel's coming out.
So there's some good stuff on
There's
the
some good things
horizon for
coming out.
sure. That I'm really
Yeah.
excited about.
There's a lot of stuff I'm not excited about, but
Oh yeah, that too.
oh, Daisy Jones and the Six. Do you think that's gonna be good?
I don't know. And that's been in the works for a while too. Because I follow it. I track it. I
Mm-hmm.
want to know what's going on because I love the book so much. But
Mm.
I mean, I hope they do the book justice. I know you're like, that book was just whatever.
It was fine. Like I have no strong opinions either way on it.
Yeah, I really loved it. I mean, I really really loved that book. All her stuff is getting adapted. They're doing Evelyn Hugo. They're doing Daisy Jones. I think they've already got
I
Malibu
think Evelyn
Rising.
Hugo will be a really good adaptation if they take like a modern interpretation of like Sunset Boulevard kind of
Hmm.
setting of I don't know if that makes any sense of the movie. Like I feel
Yeah,
like if they make it like really dramatic old Hollywood,
yeah.
then it'll be really good. Did you see that The Lying Life of Adults is eventually getting?
No.
And is am I wrong or is your little Neapolitan series, is that a show?
Yes.
Okay. I
Yep.
thought I saw that.
It is.
I was like, is this that?
It is already a show. I think they're on what? They're on book 3. I think. I think they're on book
They
3.
seem to it seems like they've been in production for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And
There
we
is something
already.
sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say we already know that Kindred is gonna be a limited series on. FX. I think FX is the perfect place for Kindred. Perfect. They will do it
That
justice.
beginning in Kindred is
Man,
just
they just woof. They just throw you in there, don't they? They don't. She didn't waste any time getting to the action.
mm-mm.
She just, there you go, throwing you in the pot,
Mm-hmm.
and the pot's already boiling.
And when you think about the time that was written in, like we're in like the early stages of sci-fi
Yeah,
as we know it today. That book is phenomenal. I don't
yeah.
know how it took me so long to freaking read it.
That's how it is. Ooh,
There's some what?
I see something for you.
What?
Conversations with Friends.
Oh, I saw that, but I still haven't watched. So I have like a hesitancy around the film versions of Sally Rooney books because I don't.
Oh,
I'm excited. I saw that and I was excited, but then I was also like, you still haven't watched Normal People, Alyssa, because I just don't want it to be bad.
oh,
And I know it's not bad, objectively speaking.
yeah,
But like, I haven't watched it, so I don't know if I feel like it's bad. If that makes any sense?
yes, yeah.
I'm scared because you know how much I love those books.
Oh, I thought you'd be excited about it.
I'm like scared.
Yeah,
Do you know what
I
I did
get
see?
it.
I see on this list, and I don't know what this book is, but I feel like either you know what this book is or we should know what this book is. And the movie is, or it's called Women Talking by Miriam Toes.
Is
It's
that that
a
book
group.
with the cover that has three ladies and they have like hoods and they're like side profiles?
Yes, it is a group of women in an isolated Mennonite religious colony in Bolivia as they struggle to reconcile their faith with a string of sexual assaults committed by the colony's men. That sounds
That
exactly
sounds like
like
we need to
something
read
we
that
would
book.
read. Where's a pen?
Wow.
Google! Doesn't that
Wow,
sound
that
fantastic?
sounds like we got to read that. And
Also,
what network is doing that?
uh, it has a TBD for 2022, so I don't even
Okay,
know.
interesting. I would like to read that before I watch it for sure. Now,
That
why are
is,
they redoing The Time Traveler's Wife? We already have the movie. Do we need a limited series on HBO? I'm gonna say we don't.
yes. Yes, we do. Do you
We
know why we
do?
do?
Why? Tell me, because I didn't read the book, so I don't know.
Because we're out of ideas.
Oh well, there you have it. How do we get your crap together?
Oh God. So sorry, I got distracted by somebody texting me to tell me they're sick. As I was looking up, I need to see if I can thrift that Women Talking book. But yeah, no, I don't know why we keep doing the same books over and over and over again. I reached the end of my
Yeah.
list. It's just crazy to me.
It is. It really is. Let's be a little bit more original, a little more creative, perhaps. So
Yeah.
let's
Also, okay,
give it a try.
I'm looking at your list and it has the actors in it. I didn't realize Ben Affleck is in this Deepwater thing.
Yes.
Fucking
Yes,
Ben
he
Affleck.
is. We are not fans, but I gotta watch it. I have to watch it, but I gotta get the book first. That's what I have to do. I gotta get the book first. There's some other stuff that's coming out that I know I'm missing, but now it's like I can't remember. But the adaptations are just they're it's crazy. It's crazy what's getting gobbled up. Didn't Tiffany D. Jackson just announce something? Or maybe I'm getting her confused with someone else.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if people have eaten up the rights to some of her books because, like, they are popular and
Yeah,
she is sort of killing it. And what does Hollywood do if not buy the rights of other people's stories and then capitalize, leverage it for more money for themselves?
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Ah, I'm cynical.
Listen, I'm excited. I'm excited for what I know is coming out. I will be tuned and plugged all the way in. That is
What
for
do you
sure.
wish? What do you wish had an adaptation of everything we've read, like up until today? What do you wish had an adaptation?
Oh wow, I really want to see Dread Nation adapted. I want to see Kings of the
Yes.
Wild and Bloody Rose adapted.
Yes.
I want to see An American Marriage by T.R.A. Jones adapted.
I still need to read that. One day I'll get there. There's a lot of books on the shelf.
I want to see Black Buck adapted. I'm actually really really surprised that Hollywood wasn't fighting over the rights to that book.
So I
really
need to
am.
read that sooner rather than later so I can chime in on that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I kind of want I don't know. I think the Dread Nation and Kings of the Wild are fantastic.
Yes. I want to see Opal and Nev adapted.
Opal and Nev would be phenomenal as a mini-series. And Sorrowland could probably be really interesting too.
Yeah.
And like weird. Like someone who does weird things, like HBO would have to pick it up and just be weird.
Very much so. Very much so. Also, like, I know we got Pachinko, but I want to see her other book.
Free Food for Millionaires, which is like another one I still have to read. I'm trying to look at the shelves and see what I would just love to see.
You already know we want to see Razorblade Tears adapted.
Yes, it reads cinematically. It should be adapted.
Also, I think Patsy by Nicole Dennis Benn will be a great adaptation.
Okay, I'm going to give you a really cheesy one. Hold on. I need to scoot over and grab it. There's this...
I kind of want to see Breast and Eggs adapted.
That would actually be good on like an artsy channel.
It really would.
There is this multiple book, 2, 4, 6, 8, 13, 14 book series by Lauren Willig called His Secret History of the Pink Carnation, which I absolutely love. And I feel like now that Bridgerton is a thing, I could feel like somebody would pick this up.
Yeah.
Because it spans...
Is it similar?
It's similar in the sense that like half the story is set in the Regency period and the other half of the story is set in contemporary London. So you have like this woman researching the Scarlet Pimpernel, who is a fictional character and is its own novel, and who was like helping, you know, the French aristocracy escape from the guillotine during the French Revolution. And she's researching this and a couple other secret agents to try to figure it out. And then, so she's got this whole storyline. She ends up meeting this old lady and her grumpy grandson and all this stuff because she's got some information for her. And then the story most stories start with her and her research, and then you dive into the stories of different people all associated with it. And there's love and swashbuckling and intrigue and history.
I love it.
And it even goes through to like... you get like the Hellfire Club, which is a fun little part in our history, and you get some of colonial India, and some interesting commentary on that. So I think it would be a really fun thing for somebody to adapt now that people are interested in this, because you could really...
I could go on for days. I also think they should adapt His Only Wife.
I still need to read that.
I think they should adapt Queenie. I think they should adapt The Starless Sea.
Such a fun age. Ow.
Such a Fun Age would be good. I think they should adapt the His Fair Assassin series.
Could you imagine Night Film?
They should adapt Night Film.
That would actually make a really good movie. Like a really good indie film.
Yeah.
Who's that guy that does all the weird things like Mulholland Drive?
What's his name? I don't know. I know who you're talking about. I can't recall it.
I'll tell you in a second.
But yeah, Night Film will be fantastic. Yes.
David Lynch.
Boom.
David Lynch should do Night Film. Dear David.
That would be great. And we've talked about Night Film on an episode before. This is a literary thriller. It's
very film noir. It's very dark and gritty and like secretive, and it would be a really good film filmed in black and white, actually, with touches of color, and like very specific moments have color.
Yeah, definitely an art house style for sure.
Rules of Civility.
What? If someone's bold enough, I wouldn't mind seeing the Arc of the Scythe series adapted.
Yes.
Give us that. Give it to us. Yeah. There's so many amazing books that would just play so well on screen.
Yeah.
So many.
Do you think if they made a TV show of The Name of the Wind, they'd actually finish the fucking series?
Well, isn't he being adapted?
No, Game of Thrones still isn't done, so that's not. Is Name of the Wind? Maybe, I don't know, but the books aren't done yet.
I thought I read something that came across my phone. I don't know. Yeah, so there's some good stuff. There is some good stuff. So,
sorry, I got tired.
yeah. So
I know that we don't talk about him a lot publicly, but I do feel like the Illuminae Files would play really nicely.
Oh, that would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's already so like
that would be great. That was a fun trilogy to read.
Mm-hmm. Though Obsidia wasn't that great.
I still liked it though.
I did, but it was like you were on such a high after Gemina.
Yeah. But as a whole, I really, really liked it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're comparing them to each other, there's like this letdown after Gemina where you're like, you could have done better.
That's true.
Oh, we gotta let Naomi go before she dies.
I'm fine. So,
are you sure?
Yeah.
Book recommendations. Is it book recommendation time?
We're gonna wrap it up. Yeah.
I hope you guys don't mind when we're chit chatty. Hopefully, we weren't so chit chatty that it made no sense.
We're gonna make it make sense.
No, you're gonna make it make sense. I'm gonna show you the raw and unedited nonsense that is you and I filming.
That's right. As a reminder, folks, when you listen to the podcast, in your podcast catchers, whatever you do, that's our edited version. But if you want to see the raw and uncut, me muting my mic to blow my nose, all that good stuff, me trying not to cough,
me having giggle fits,
you go to the Nurse Reads YouTube channel and you look at our raw and uncut video.
Ooh, question, just because I saw it and has nothing to do with anything else, but when are we going to do The Girl with the Dragonfly Tattoo reread /read? Because I've only read the first one.
I have never read them. Well, that's not true. I started the first book, and that was when it first came out. So
yeah, same.
I don't know. We need to figure the schedule out because we want to do our. What did we say? We said we're going to go ahead and start Faithful and the Fallen. Because you were cool
Correct.
with doing that while we're reading Wheel of Time. I'm cool with it too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We also have to start Jade City.
Right. I'm ready to start John Gwyn this month. I mean, in March. I don't know about you, but I'm so itching to read it, to check him out, to see what his writing is all about.
Okay.
So maybe right after we
finish Do I ever say no to you?
No.
Okay, every so often I'm like, pull it back, Naomi.
Yeah, sometimes you're like, reel it back in, girl. Reel it back in. So maybe, what about we start the Steg Larsson one after we finish John Gwyn?
Okay.
And that'd be a nice, break, right? We go from fantasy to, what do you categorize the Steg Larsson
Scandinavian thrillers, that's what I categorize it as.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little switch up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it, folks. Yeah, we're doing that.
Woo! Okay, good.
Whee!
Good. Back on track.
Back on track with
book recommendations.
It's a new year, and I'm just going to tell you again, you need to read Lonesome Dove. One thing you can count on, I'm always going to recommend this book at least 5 times a year.
I remember when you found that hardcover.
Oh my gosh. When she came to visit me and I took her on an epic book thrifting shopping day.
We're going to do that again, right?
What was it? I think it was Savers.
I think so. It was one of the thrift stores.
Because I have the mass paperback of Lonesome Dove. That's what I read a couple years ago. And I saw this hardcover, and I'm telling you, if I were a gymnast, I would have done backflips in the aisle of that thrift store. I have been looking for hardcover for months. I could not believe I scored like that.
We need to do another epic thrifting session when I come down.
Yes, that's April. Yes, we're doing it.
Yes.
So let me just read a little bit of the inside flap. So this is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry.
For anybody watching the video, just look how excited she is to be telling us again about Lonesome Dove. I do need to find you cowboy porn. I'm sorry, smut.
I love it. Okay.
Just. I know you don't read cowboy. I know it's not smut.
This is not smut, guys, but she's trying to get me there. Okay. So.
This episode did start with you talking about your boxes, so.
It did. It did. All right, Lonesome Dove. A love story, an adventure, an American epic. Lonesome Dove embraces all the West legend and fact, heroes and outlaws, whores and ladies, Indians and settlers, and a novel that recreates a Central American experience, the most enduring of our national myths. Set in the late 19th century, Lonesome Dove is the story of a cattle drive from Texas to Montana and much more. It is a drive that represents for everybody involved not only a daring, even a foolhardy adventure, but part of the American dream, the attempt to carve out of the last remaining wilderness a new life. I had no idea I would love a book so much or be so just enraptured by a book, but I couldn't get enough of it. And this is a series. This is book 1 of the series. And I do have book 2, which I'm going to start maybe in the next couple of months. I love it.
I just want you to know that there's multiple copies of We've Been Talking on Penguin Books.
Oh.
I'm going to have to compare to
Well,
Abe.
Well, hang on, because I got the library sale on Thursday, so just,
okay.
Pump your brakes until then.
Pump my brakes. Also, my copy of Nemesis Games arrived.
Oh, yes.
So I have The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I absolutely loved this story. So this is a reprint of some of her earlier works that Tor put out. And Tor, thank you for graciously sending me this copy, as proof copy. This book, I listened to this actually on the drive back from my dad's house last year. This is like Age of Innocence, Edith Wharton, in Paris with like sort of magic. Oh, actual magic. And it was so good. Like I know that like I wasn't over the moon with Mexican Gothic. Like I was like, this is good. I'll read more from her. Yeah. This is stellar. Like I have, this is like, for me, this is stellar. And she has so many different kinds of books, especially in her back catalog that's getting reprinted. I feel like there's something for everybody, but so I'll read you the back. They are The Beautiful Ones, Lucille's most notable socialites, and The Spring and Nina's Chance. We're going to start again because none of that was English. And it's not really Paris. It's like a fictional Paris. Anyway, they are The Beautiful Ones, Lucille's most notable socialites, and this spring is Nina's chance to join their ranks, courtesy of her well-connected cousin and his calculating wife. But the grand season has just begun, and already Nina's debut has gone dangerously awry. She has always struggled to control her telekinesis. Neighbors call her the Witch of the Old House, and the haphazard manifestations of her powers make her the subject of malicious gossip. An entertainer, Hector Auvray, arrives in town. Nina is dazzled, a telekinetic like her. He has traveled the world performing his talents for admiring audiences. He sees Nina not as a witch, but ripe with potential to master her power under his tutelage. With Hector's help, Nina's talents blossom, and as does her love for him. But great romances are for fairy tales, and Hector is hiding a truth from Nina and himself that threatens to end their courtship before it's truly begun. It's a tale of love and betrayal and the struggle between conformity and passion, and set in a world where scandal is a razor-sharp weapon.
Wow.
And there's like, the ending's really good. It's fantastic. It was a really good book. It's got lots of drama.
Yeah. She's an interesting author.
She really is. I like her writing. It's just like I wanted Mexican Gothic to be a lot more atmospheric and for her to really dig in. I just thought it was too short.
I mean, she definitely
like she would start digging in, and then she would move on, and I'm like, no, keep going, keep making me creeped out.
Her upcoming book sounds good. Now, so the very first book that I ever had of hers was Gods of Jada's Shadow. That was my very first book of the month choice.
Did you read it? Because I still haven't read it.
I've never read it.
We should do that.
I don't know what it is. I cannot bring myself to want to read that book, and I don't know why. But I also have her book, Certain Dark Things, that I bought 2 years ago. I thrifted that. And
I have that.
I know they reprinted it or whatever, but I still like my original cover. And I finally read that last year. Yeah, I like my original cover better. And that was pretty good. I didn't love it, but I liked it. Mexican Gothic I really loved. But I am looking forward to what she's got coming out next. And she's got a great backlist, so.
She really does.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's what we're reading, or that's what we recommend. We're not reading that. We already read that.
Oh yes, her new one is called The Daughter of Dr. Moreau.
So, oh yes, I know. Carmen was gushing because Carmen is in love with her, and I like the I like the concept of that book, so I'm excited for it.
And
I'm hoping they'll make it a good month.
Velvet Was the Night because I was telling myself, no, you cannot buy Velvet Was the Night until you read Gods of Jade and Shadow because you already own it.
But I have that too. I have I have a lot of her books.
I may have to go against my own rule there. But,
do you know what I bought?
What do you got?
I bought something last night because it was half off on the Amazon. Have you seen that Emily Ratajkowski book, My Body, that's been going around?
Oh yeah. That was a book week, wasn't it?
I think so, but they had it half off on Amazon, so I bought it.
Oh my gosh. I'm not saying a word, ma'am. I'm saying nothing.
I was stressing about global events.
It's fine. It's fine.
The world is falling apart.
Look, we do what we can to comfort ourselves. You know, the world is a shit show. You know, we do what we can.
Yeah.
We do what we can.
Unfortunately, what I can is buy more books so that I can eventually hibernate.
Well, stay tuned, folks, because I'll be going to my library's book sale on March 3rd. So I may have some books. Alyssa may have some too.
I hope I have some.
Do you work that night?
What night?
The 3rd.
Is that a Saturday?
That's a Thursday.
No.
Okay.
I work Monday to Tuesday.
Okay, because I'll be texting you if I see something I think you might like.
Text me.
Boom, boom, boom. That's what we do. Woo! Well, we got through this mega recording session.
We did, and now we need to end it because I need to meal prep.
Target. We have to get ready for school and work tomorrow.
I gotta meal prep.
Yeah. I'm not gonna read. I don't think. I'm very tired.
I'll read eventually. But I'm like, I have not a lot of Giovanni's Room left, and not a lot of Gathering Moss, and so I think
Giovanni's Room. I only read 32 pages.
I stopped at part 2 last night.
But it reads really quickly, and I wasn't expecting that.
It does, and I feel like I'm jumping through time a lot.
Yeah, because I don't have the audiobook. I was just reading it. I was like, oh, this reads fast.
I'm listening to it along and marking it up, and yeah, it's going really fast.
Yeah, because it's already so short. So anyway, thanks, folks.
We're gonna stop chatting.
We're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Share with a friend. Bye.
Yes, please. Bye. Leave a review.